welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Andrew Kavanaugh, and I want to say welcome to Kavanaugh's Corner. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today, we're going to be reviewing an all-new release here. This just came out a couple days ago from me posting this video, and this is one that I was actually pretty excited for, mainly because this is like a comfort film of mine. I love this movie. I revel in just the perfect way that this movie is written. It's shot perfectly. Al Pacino in this movie puts on a masterclass of acting. Pretty much everybody in this movie is just working at their highest level. And that movie is, of course, Scent of a Woman. And this also stars a very young Chris O'Donnell and the late, great Philip Seymour Hoffman in one of his first semi-leading roles. He was a marvel in this, and we definitely lost that man way too soon. But this is a movie that has always been a favorite of mine. Al definitely earned the Oscar for this. He probably should have won it 2 to 3 times before this movie, a minimum of 2 to 3 times, but this one here, he really knocks it out of the park, and director Martin Brest, who also produced this film, is just amazing. His directing in this is just spot on, perfect throughout the entirety of the film. And really, it's really too bad that Marty Brest isn't working in Hollywood anymore. Really anything. I think he's retired, honestly. But it's really too bad because this man made like only, I think it was like 6 like feature-length films in his career, and 5 of them were great. And makes one stinker, and his career was essentially ended, which was really a shame. But this guy, again, his movies, Beverly Hills Cop, Going in Style, Meet Joe Black, and another favorite of mine, Midnight Run, which ironically enough is another Shout Factory release, much like this one. But today, we're going to be talking about this all-new collector's edition of Scent of a Woman here from Shout Factory, with an all-new 4K transfer with Dolby Vision, and it's got DTS HD 5.1 and the original theatrical stereo, which was very interesting. So we're going to talk about that. It's also got 2 new special features. Before I jump into the review here, I just want to thank all of you for subscribing. The audience here that I've built up over the last 10 years, it's not the biggest you'll find on YouTube, but I love you guys, truly. All of you that have subscribed and commented, it really means a lot to me. I've been doing this for a while now, and it's not like I make a ton of money off of it, but I do love talking about physical media, and I just really enjoy the fact that other people enjoy this content. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and if you haven't and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the like button if you happen to like this video. If you do that kind of thing, it helps my videos get out there a little more, because like I said, I don't have the biggest channel on YouTube in terms of this stuff, but I really appreciate you guys watching, and now on with the review. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the picture quality here of Scent of a Woman, because like I did mention, it is a new 4K transfer, and it is a 4K digital intermediate, but also the fact that it has Dolby Vision. And this is the older Blu-ray that came out way back in 2012. And this Blu-ray here, this was really nothing to sneeze at. This was actually a pretty solid Blu-ray for when it came out. But this old Blu-ray, again, the picture quality on it was really good, and it actually may have been a HD DVD kind of just port over. If you guys remember that, that was the other format that lost to good old Blu-ray, which is a shame, but in the end, I think we got the better disc format, and now we have the even better disc format, so go figure. But this was really a great Blu-ray for quite a long period of time, but now 4K technology has arisen, and you know, we have high dynamic range and things like that. And the one thing that really jumped out at me about this new transfer here is just the fact that it's just all around a really solid upgrade over that Blu-ray. Detail level is much, much higher on this new disc than it was previously, and that just comes with the resolution bump here. The 4K resolution for this film really does wonders for it. There's a lot of close-ups of Pacino and the other actors in the film, and it reveals so much detail. Clothing detail is much higher now than it was before. And the beautiful thing is that the film has a very fine layer of grain throughout. It's very light, in fact, and it did not seem to me like there was any kind of digital noise reduction going on, and I love the fact that they kept that film grain in there. Shout Factory usually does a really good job with their 4K discs, and this was no different. This was a really impressive transfer on this disc. Skin tones are much more accurate now than they were. I mean, the previous disc, again, it looked really good, but there definitely is an improvement there on this new 4K disc. Dolby Vision as a whole just provides a much richer and more vivid color palette than the previous release did. Scenes are just lit better now, and every scene now actually carries the appropriate lighting of the interior or exterior that it's taking place in. And I love the fact that we get to see that now in movies. I previously reviewed A Fistful of Dollars, which was done by Arrow Video, and they did a very similar thing with that disc. And I really love the fact that we get to see like room appropriate and exterior appropriate lighting depending on weather conditions or the actual lighting of the room itself. The Dolby Vision also provides a much richer and vivid color palette. Reds are much deeper, greens are much more vibrant. There's a lot of incandescent lighting in this film in the various hotels and homes and the school, places like that that you visit in this film. Everything just looks really, really accurate. And the colors of, like, for instance, Al Pacino wears like a burgundy tie a few times in this film, and it just looks so great. I mean, it just 100% accuracy now. Not that it was off before by a lot, but now you really get to see that color exactly the way it was filmed. It's really spectacular. The new Dolby Vision grading and everything also really made me appreciate the cinematography for this film. The way light is used in this movie is quite spectacular, and I just love the fact that you really get that brightness of like sunshine. It's really all very impressive stuff. Black levels are also very solid on this disc. There are not a lot of darkly lit scenes in this film. There are a couple nighttime scenes, but those scenes do now look better than ever. They just look phenomenal. And one thing I have to say is there's some shots of New York City at night in this film, and that also looks really, really fantastic in 4K. It really was an overall really solid upgrade over that previous Blu-ray. Again, if these things are not huge selling points to you, I could understand if you just stuck with that older Blu-ray. It's nothing to sneeze at. Like I said, that older Blu-ray is fantastic. This is just a bump in every single way, picture-wise. It's just about a full step up from that Blu-ray. So I really enjoyed it, and I think the transfer on this is really, really fantastic. I would say it's probably like a 9 out of 10, honestly. It's really, really well done. The audio quality on this disc is also really solid. This does come with 2 audio tracks. So there's a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, and then there's actually the original theatrical stereo, which is the 2.0 stereo. So the left and right speakers are in use for that one. I listened to the film kind of half and half. I went through some of it in the 5.1 and then switched it over to the 2.0 on occasion. And I will say, as for the 5.1, I'm fairly certain it's the same DTS HD 5.1 master audio from the older Blu-ray. So there's nothing really crazy to report there. It sounded great. The dialogue was crystal clear. Thomas Newman's score, which I absolutely love in this movie. It's one of my favorite film scores of all time. It's actually been used in, I don't even know how many movie trailers over the years, but it was definitely one of those scores that got used a lot. It sounded great. Again, it's a very dialogue-heavy film, so there's not so much of a use for 5.1 for this, but it's a very solid audio track, and if you prefer 5.1, you can't go wrong with that audio mix. However, the newly included 2.0 stereo on this disc is so much better. And it's crazy for me to say this because normally the stereo being an older audio track, even though it's what originally went along with this film, because of technological advancements now, stereo is usually kind of one of these tracks where I'll listen to it, I'll test it out, but it's not my preferred audio. And unless, like Criterion, for example, they love to include just the original theatrical audio and no remixes or anything like that, which is awesome that they do that. But every now and then you want to see, what can be improved upon a little bit. I know there are a lot of purists out there that just love to go for the original theatrical audio, and that's fine. Everybody has their preferences. But let me just say, when I switched this movie over, because it defaults, the 4K disc actually defaults over to the 5.1. When I switched it over to the stereo, my mind was blown. It is so much better in stereo. The dialogue is louder, it's clearer. There's some incidental audio in certain scenes that the stereo picks up on that is pretty much buried or completely missing in the 5.1 track. And it was a revelation to me. I was actually very, very impressed with that stereo track. Thomas Newman's score sounded actually better in that one, ironically enough, even though it's not as spread out. It just has so much more of a punch, and it pretty much goes for everything with that stereo track. So for this film in particular, I would have to say, stick with the 2.0 stereo. If you have a sound bar or something like that, it's actually going to be your definite way to go for that. I would say if you have a sound bar set up, only use the stereo track on this disc. If not, I would say use that stereo anyway. It is so much better in every way. And even though, like I said, the 5.1 definitely gives the movie a lot more room to breathe, in this film, 99% of the time, all of the audio is either coming out of the center channel or the left and right. And so relegating all the audio to just the left and right, it actually helped the movie out a little bit. I'm so glad that it was included here on this new 4K disc. It was very, very impressive. Now, as for the special features here, this set is a 2-disc set. I may have actually forgotten to mention that until now. But as you can see here, the second disc is just a standard Blu-ray. So there's your 4K, there's your standard Blu-ray. And all the special features are on the standard Blu-ray along with the film. And funny enough, in another strange twist, this is one of these new editions where less special features actually kind of meant more. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So there are only 2 special features on the entire set here, both of which are on that secondary Blu-ray. And one of them is an interview with one of the editors. His name is Michael Tronick. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then the other one is an interview with director Martin Brest. Now, the interview with Michael Tronick there is fantastic. I think it's a little over a half an hour long or around that. But he really goes into depth of his relationship with director Martin Brest, how he ended up on the film, and he's actually the editor that cut together the tango scene, the legendary tango scene from this movie. And this is a guy who worked with Bob Fosse, and he has no qualms about sharing that. He says that, I think, like 2 or 3 times in this interview. But hey, if I worked with Bob Fosse on all that jazz, I would brag about it too, okay? He's got every right to brag about that. But hearing his insights on how the movie was cut together and how Martin Brest works and stuff on his films, it's actually really cool. And I love the insider takes from people that actually worked on the movie. And that was a great interview. But the real humdinger of this set is an hour-long, brand new interview with director Martin Brest, who not only talks about his history in directing and things that he was involved in. For example, he's actually the original director of Rain Man. He goes into that a little bit and talks about, you know, Beverly Hills Cop and Midnight Run and stuff like that, which is, again, coming from that guy who directed those movies. It's wonderful. But he really goes into depth about how they casted the movie, how the movie was written with Bo Goldman, how they literally locked themselves in a room and put the script together for this movie. It's kind of unbelievable. Actually talks about how he basically discovered Philip Seymour Hoffman. So really, really cool stuff. And it is one of the best interviews I have seen on a release in a long time. That's the kind of special feature I want to see on a 4K disc or a new collector's edition of something. Can we please get more of that? I mean, that was outstanding. And honestly, the guy is very well spoken. He's a lot of fun. And I loved hearing those insights and like what it was to direct Al Pacino. He shares a lot of little secrets, little moments from the film that have stuck with him through the years. And you can tell that he genuinely enjoyed making this movie. It stayed with him, and it's important to him. And I love that. I absolutely love hearing these stories and really getting that first-hand storytelling from filmmakers or actors, in this case, filmmakers, on this disc. So again, not a lot in terms of special features, but what you get is worth it. It is fantastic, and I really hope we see more stuff like that in the future. So notes to everyone doing these new transfers and new collector's editions and stuff, do stuff like that. That's what we want to see, or at least that's what I want to see. So what are my thoughts overall on Scent of a Woman? I would say the transfer on here, fantastic. New 4K scan from the original camera negative, supervised by the director himself. Outstanding. Again, colors, amazing. It's a very solid bump in detail level. Just everything about it was just great in terms of picture quality. Very nice upgrade from the older Blu-ray. On top of that, we've got an awesome 5.1 and somehow an even better DTS stereo track on this. Again, that original theatrical audio was phenomenal. And then for the special features, we got 2 great special features, one of which is one of my favorites that I've seen in a very long time. So I'd say Scent of a Woman here from Shout Factory. This is a great 4K release. I'm so glad I picked this up. As I mentioned, this is a movie that I rewatch just to relax and chill out and just have a great time. And it's the new preferred version for me. This is hands down the best this movie's ever looked, probably will ever look. And it sounded great and awesome special features. So this is a buy for me. If you're a fan of this film and you want the ultimate version of it, this is it. I'm very glad that they did this justice. It's great stuff. But that's all for today for Kavanaugh's Corner. I just want to say thank you all very much for watching this through. If you got this far into the video, I really appreciate you watching. If you like this, definitely make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to pick up Scent of a Woman here on 4K, I'll leave a link in the description below that goes to Amazon. If you use that link, that gets me a little itty-bitty tiny kickback here on the channel. But every penny counts. So thank you so very much. I wish you guys all the best. Please stay safe, keep collecting, and take it easy.